Hello Watch fam, I hope you're all very well. It's been a short while since I last posted, but it's just been super manic busy with August, September, catching up with things, especially when I was away for a month travel, etc. So let's crack a video out. I've bought a watch, guys. I've bought a watch. I think some of you would have watched my video from around 2 months ago when I was traveling in Europe, and I was there with the Seiko, and I took the SD with me as well, but I was venturing into some unknown territories here and there, and the Seiko felt somewhat warm and fuzzy on the wrist. And it was that finally got me thinking, I can't really be rocking around in these kind of, luxury timepieces everywhere. For a while I have been thinking about downsizing the collection, etc. Stabilizing it a bit somewhat. I think it's all gone a bit crazy. Anyway, enough about that for now. Forgive me guys if the microphone is a bit rubbish today. I've lost the microphone. I'm really annoyed. I lost the microphone. I wanted to get a video out yesterday and I could not find my microphone. I think I left it in Europe during recent travels. I just remember leaving it or seeing it in my suitcase, and I haven't seen it since. So anyway guys, what have I bought? I've gone for the Omega Seamaster 300 diver. Is this what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Sometimes when I Google Seamaster 300, there's another one that crops up. So the Seamaster 300 diver, I've got it on the strap with the deployment clasp, and I bought it off a lovely gentleman in Dubai. He'll probably be watching this video. We had a nice chat about watches, about the market, etc, etc. I bought it also with a bracelet. I was really close to pulling the trigger on an Omega a couple of days ago in the shop, and I thought, you know what, there'll be a sensible option out there to buy, and I'll probably get a little bit more for my money. So I found one, pristine condition with the rubber strap and the bracelet, all the funky stuff, receipts, box, blah blah blah. And we completed the deal, and here I am. So what's got me from Rolex to Omega to what's going on? Because this is my first Omega I've ever owned. I once had a Planet Ocean for about a month or two. This was many years ago. I never wore it. It was just, I wouldn't say I had it. But this is the first one I've gone for. And you know what, guys? I've joined, and I put this on my Instagram, by the way, which is steelmoon_watches. I've officially joined the random helium escape valve crew. And it is a random helium escape valve. Do you see it after a while? You don't. And it kind of puts you into that perspective where, so many of us judge watches before we've spent any time with them. And rightly so. We judge things. We judge properties, we judge cars, we judge anything before we spend time with it. But I think when you start really spending a bit of time on it, granted I am on my in the honeymoon period right now, you start to appreciate it. And I appreciate the Omega Seamaster for different reasons, guys. For different reasons. Let me tell you one thing. The Omega Seamaster 300 is not my dream watch. It's not my dream watch. I don't think it's many people's dream watch. Maybe if you are sort of starting out in your career, etc, etc. Techies, for some reason, techies love Omegas. If you're a techie, they love Omega 300. It's not a dream watch, like for example where my Sea Dweller is like the nuts. It's not something where I would say, oh, it's like a Pepsi GMT, which is up there for me, like one of the dream watches. I love it to bits. What else will I consider maybe a dream watch? A chronograph AP, Royal Oak Chrono. I think they're beautiful, kind of dream watches. But then you look at these watches which are like the stars, and then you got to hit the moon, right? And I think in terms of my lifestyle and what I do and how I do it, and I love to mess around on the beach, I like to go to the desert, I like to go trails with friends, I like to go to forests and mess around with family when I go to Europe. In terms of me as an individual, I just don't see me wearing those caliber watches with me everywhere. I also don't see me wearing an Omega Seamaster 300 every single wear with me. I mean, listen, it was 2 years ago now. I went to Petra in Jordan, sort of a 2-day thing, 3-day thing, covered so many kilometers, trail, rocks. I mean, you can fall over and do anything really. I took the Seiko with me and I felt okay taking a Seiko Turtle. I would never have dreamed of even taking a Rolex with me when I went to Petra. If I was to do the same excursion again, granted I do have an understanding of it now, so I can't judge it in the same way, but would I take the Seiko again? I think I'd take the Omega. I would take the Omega with me into more grey areas than I would the Sea Dweller. And I think this goes without saying for the obvious reasons. You know, Rolexes and APs and Pateks, whatever, it's not so much losing it or damaging it or having it stolen, it's also a case of being able to attain or buy it again, purchase it, find it. You know, you're not going to be able to. You know, you might have the insurance which covers you for market value, etc., but insurance loves to play in a grey area as well. And you know, another caveat in the whole thing, we all have our own limits. You know, there are guys out there who are happy to take the Daytonas to the forest and mess around. They have a different limit to me. They have a different threshold, shall I say, a financial threshold. We all have different financial thresholds. So it's not a competition. I've seen some comment sections, to be honest, guys, in some YouTube videos. And you know what? It's always the same 1 or 2 YouTubers. All it ever is dick swinging about what they have. It's a bit of a strange thing, but if you're that guy, you know, good for you, you've got stuff. Enjoy it. But I guess I'm reaching out to the 90% of us which don't. We're being a bit sensible. You know, I've got friends with fantastic collections and just stuff that we talk about, we try and stuff. What do they wear when they travel to like Siberia? An Omega, you know, and it's just one of those things. I was recently in Belgium, and I landed on a Sunday in Brussels. Everything's closed in Brussels on a Sunday, like everything. There are barely any taxis. I landed after a 7-hour flight. I was exhausted. I got to the taxi rank. Must have been around 70 people in front of me. Must have been about 70 people. And the taxis were coming every maybe 3-4 minutes. So I did the maths. I was like, I'm going to be here for a while. I just want to get to my hotel. I want to relax. I wore my Seiko. Some random guy comes up to me, must have been in his 60s. You know, he's talking a little bit in French. I understand some French. I can speak a bit of French from school. We agreed on a price, you know, 55 euros, whatever. Take me to my hotel. He's like, oui, you know. I'm like, you know, d'accord, let's go. So we're walking for a bit. You know, we get to this area, shoddy old Mercedes. There's another car parked next to it with a couple of guys having a cigarette. And I'm thinking, what have I stepped into? I mean, listen, I'm alright. I don't mind going in sort of dark alleys and whatnot. I'm fine with it. I'm cool. I mean, there's nothing to take from me. Certainly not my 200 euro watch or 200 euro watch. Go for it, knock yourself out. But that situation, that moment where I got in a taxi with him and he could have taken me anywhere, that moment could have been a lot more stressful had I been wearing a Hulk, a Pepsi, AP, whatever. It would have been a lot more stressful because you know what? Now not only is my 1,000 euros in danger, which is in my wallet, my travel money, but I've got this bloody watch on my wrist, which is just going to be a pain if you take it off me. Anyway, suffice to say, I got to the hotel, everything was right. We had a bit of a mixed French chat, bit of English, bit of Turkish. I don't understand Turkish, by the way. And all is well. All is well. A nice area in Brussels called Waterloo. But the point is, I now travel more and more destinations where I haven't really been. I mean, I've been to Belgium before, but not in that type of way. On business, on your own, suitcase, airport, Sunday, give me a cab. You know, I've been places like that in Vienna, Turkey, Morocco, random places, guys, random places, and still not necessarily places where you want to wear an Omega. But, you know, with an Omega, granted, sorry guys, I haven't spoken much about the technical aspect of it, but I think there's just way better channels for that. Granted, the Omega, I just think, you know, you wouldn't want to lose it. You don't want anyone to take it. If you lose it, someone takes it, you can rebuy it, and the insurance is going to be okay. So it was kind of from that angle that I thought I finally need a proper travel watch. And when I did my video a couple months ago, I just decided, you know what, I want a travel Swiss watch. A lot of people said, you know, keep going with the Seikos. I like the Seikos, but there's part of me that still wants to have a nice Swiss tech piece on my wrist, which doesn't cost too much. And you guys know me and Tudor, we don't vibe. We don't really roll together, me and Tudor, because I have my opinions about Tudor, the official homage watch of Rolex, and I'll leave it at that. I'll do another video maybe on this new Pelagos 39 at some point, but I've got my opinion on them. So, I mean, this watch is lovely. I've spent time on the wrist. I've slated the Seamaster 300 many a time to my friend who has the green one, the blue one, all of them, all of the APs, all of the Rolex. He's got everything. I've slated this watch so many times, saying I hate the nipple, helium escape valve and everything. But with everything, there's a pro and a con. There is nothing out there that's perfect. Nothing out there that's perfect. I love the Pepsi, for example, but you will struggle to convince me that the Pepsi is not pink and purple. It's pink and purple. Go out with it in a bit of sunshine, a bit of sunlight, it's pink and purple. It's not blue and red, but I still like it. It's a great watch. Doesn't make sense to wear in these, you know, days, these times that we're living in. You know, the Rolex and, you know, these offerings AP, they're sort of dwindling. You know, wearing it outside your living room. I mean, we're hearing horror stories. Fortunately, I'm fully based in Dubai. I don't travel to the UK, or I don't travel to France or anything like that. And, you know, if I were to ever move back to the UK, I'd probably just sell off the lot. I don't need it. I'd rather buy a property. It's been fun. So that's kind of my background, reasoning, mental awareness, mental battle for the Omega. I really like the Omega. The movement in this thing is crazy. I mean, I've had it a day and it hasn't even lost a second yet. It hasn't lost a second. This watch is 5 months old. 5 months old, it's pretty much brand new. It hasn't lost any time. I like the dial a lot. The crystal, you can't even see the crystal because of the double AR coating, but I think they've done that on the new Rolexes anyway as well. It's comfortable on the wrist. I'm always the guy, the victim of the strap and the bracelet, whereby the strap or bracelet is either a tiny bit too big or a tiny bit too small. And I'm always like, a bit tight, it's okay. A bit too big, it's okay. But I put this on with this deployment clasp. I don't think the deployment clasp has anything to do with it, but I put it on, perfect, off the bat, perfect off the bat. I paid a good price for this. I'm very happy with it. As I say again, guys, is it the perfect watch? No, it's not the perfect watch, but in the real world now, you can't really wear that perfect watch everywhere. Can't do things with it everywhere. You know, I was at the beach maybe 2-3 weeks ago, digging holes in the sand with my little kid, building sandcastles and whatnot. And I was wearing the SD, and I just felt the sand scratching the clasp or touching the clasp. I thought, okay, I can deal with this, but at the same time, I shouldn't have to, like, you know, wear the Seiko when you do this, Mike. But still, I like to have a Swiss watch on my wrist when I do certain things, and that's why the Seiko kind of at times just it gets put to the back of the queue, and I wear like a Fitbit watch or an Apple Watch type watch. But now with this, really chilled. You know what? It kind of just feels like I reset a bit. Admittedly, I still have a little bit of watch fatigue, so this is why I needed something a bit different. I was eyeing up a Panerai 233, but for some reason, I was just getting a calling for the Seamaster 300. I was just getting a calling for it. The stars were aligning. I've never had an Omega. The movement really intrigued me. I questioned always one thing: can I live with the helium escape valve? I can live with it. At the price point, I can live with it. I think there's so many things that this watch has that, for example, a Rolex Submariner doesn't have. that it makes it interesting enough for me. I guess I'm a little bit tired of the whole Rolex DNA. Doesn't matter if you put a GMT in front of me or a Submariner in front of me or a Sea Dweller in front of me, they're all pretty much similar, right? It's different colors, small differences. So it was time, guys. It was time to pull the trigger on the Seamaster 300 diver, black one. I have no idea what the reference is for this watch. Sorry, guys. I'll try and put it in the YouTube in the title. I just wanted to get a video out for the first one day that I've had it. You know what my impression of it was. I like that the date's at 6 o'clock. I get a really sub no date vibe from this watch. I get a really nice sub no date vibe from the watch. I like the red writing, the red accent on the second hand. The lume's really good. I like the lume, the green and blue mix. Admittedly, you know, you get spoiled with Rolex bezel action. You do. This bezel action is really good. It's a really good bezel action. I mean, let's not start overthinking bezel action. I think if we're overthinking bezel action, we'll genuinely go mad. But the Rolex one is really nice. Honestly speaking, I like the bezel action of the Seiko Turtle and SKX. I really like, especially the Turtle one. It's got like a Harley Davidson feel to it when you turn it. I don't know. I really like the bezel for the Turtle. It's a cheap watch compared to these other watches. The date's really nice. And listen, it's a great watch, guys. It's a great watch. I was choosing between the black one. I was choosing between the silver one. I even looked at the green one. Blue one, I just didn't want the blue one. It was not the right shade of blue for me, although it is nice. The green isn't the right shade of green for me either. So it was always going to be between this and the white. The white, I still couldn't do the white. I think on my Instagram, I did a poll, and I think pretty much 40% of people suggested I get a white one, or 38%. 50% went black, and I think like 10 or 12 or whatever, the remaining percent went silver. Silver lot, a really interesting bunch of people. But no, it's really nice. It's really nice, the silver as well. I think in black, it just looks fantastic. It looks incredible, guys. So anyway, guys, that's kind of what I wanted to get out to you in reference to the Seamaster, Omega Seamaster world. I'm going to get another video out in the next week or so, touching on something a little bit different. In terms of first impressions on this, really, I think the strap feels fantastic. It's certainly, for me, the strap feels, I don't know if it's better than the rubber bee I have, but it fits better than the rubber bee. It's not as stiff as the rubber bee. And I look forward to taking it away with me now, like wherever I travel. Like the Omega's just coming on. I don't have to, it's not a mental liability. I've had mental liability. I mean, look, unless you're getting picked up directly from the airport to wherever you go, the guy's waiting right outside for you. You know, unless you have that, maybe it's time to wear something a little bit, not necessarily safer, but at least something you can replace, or something that's not going to absolutely kill you if it gets taken, stolen, whatnot. Something you can even wear to the gym. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, and I will try and get a microphone again, a new one, for the next video. Drop your feedback in the comment section. What do you think of the Seamaster 300? What do you guys think of the Seamaster 300 versus the Submariner? The obvious question. What do you guys think of the way the watch world is going? Maybe drop me a few questions, you know, in case I do a Q&A session in the next month or so. Thanks very much, guys. I will speak with you soon. Bye.